Hello, it's time to do my yearly video of what happened in the last year with Tides of Revival, and a little bit about what may be happening in the coming year. So the last year was 2024. It's now a little bit into 2025, and yeah, let's go. I'm gonna try and speed through this. So what is Tides of Revival? If you have never, seen me speak about this before or seen our game, it's what I call a massive immersive sim, or a grand RPG is another term that I quite like, that I heard. And to delve into that a little bit, it's a first-person, single-player fantasy RPG set in a massive, simulated, believable open world. And this is three sort of pillars from a vision deck I did about a year ago or a year and a half ago or something. Three really important parts of the game: immersion, freedom, and change. You should feel like you're in the world. You should feel like you're able to do the things that you should be able to do, and the things that you do should have a big impact on the world. So there are three things we really want in the game. This is what it looks like right now. So we have a world that's about 16 by 16 kilometers big. The aim is to be quite a lot bigger, about maybe 500 by 500 kilometers big. So very, very big. Maybe not quite that big, we'll see. But, we want to have a real big world. And next up, I'm just going to show you. So this is just like a debug view of the world. But to show you that we actually do have some gameplay, here is a video of what it looked like about a year ago, where we have a bow, we have some creatures that are attacking us, we have a bit of a house and some lighting, and yeah, so just so you know that we are actually making a game, not just like a fancy tech demo. That's been one of my mantras in developing this game. So let's go some of the cool things that happened in 2024. First off, I think this is my favorite thing that happened in 2024, and that is that Giuseppe and Julia, who are helping me make this game, came to visit here in Stockholm, or here in Tyresö, where I live. And that was really nice. I took them out for a hike down in the National Reservation Park. And here Julia is sitting and speaking to my wife, Jurgita. We made a lot of improvements on the tech front. We're writing the game in Zig, which is a C-like language. And so I worked a bit, mostly early this year, on improving a library or a tool for automatically generating bindings for existing libraries, C libraries out there, and C++ libraries. And so we generated bindings for Recast and the Forge. So we are now basing our rendering on the Forge, which is a quite well-used library in the games industry, which is cool. And on the sort of rendering side, Giuseppe has done a lot of really cool stuff. So we have image-based lighting, which is to say that we get the lighting from the world based on sort of the, what the world actually looks like. So it's not just calculated based off of, directional light of the sun and things like that. It's quite cool. Atmospheric scattering, so we can have like a day-night cycle where the sky changes based on the position of the sun and things like that. It looks awesome. We have improved our terrain material, so it's cliffs are sort of rocky and flatter areas of grassy and so on. It's still work in progress, but it's much better. And we have some post-processing effects as well. We've added bindings for IMGUI and IM3D, which is going to be really good for debug debugging stuff visually. And we've also upgraded to the latest fix and rewrote it quite a bit. And that sounds like a technical detail, but it's actually quite important for us to start using the multi-threading features of Flex, which is which I'm looking forward to. I also wrote a presentation and recorded a video about thoughts on how we can do multi-threading for the gameplay of Tides of Revival. So there's a link on our YouTube channel that you can watch if that sounds interesting to you. We spent quite a bit of time on our tools as well. I wrote a tool that I call LudoDB, which is kind of like a database or data entry tool for games. It's not done yet, but it's like in a proof of concept or basically a proof of concept for this. And I'm really looking forward to start using it this year for actually adding some content, designing some data for the game. We wrote a completely new simulation or world generation tool because our old one wasn't very good, and now we have a much better, much easier to work with setup for generating the world. It's been really nice to work with. Jeremy Lamont, which he's a guy from France, but he's in I think he's in Amsterdam now. Anyway, he wrote a really nice asset cooker tool, which is basically data pipeline for that's open source and also is on his GitHub, and it's really been super helpful for us because it's super fast at detecting changes and compiling our data. It's been a real lifesaver, I think, for us, based on the pure amount of data that we have for our world already. And I have recently improved our onboarding script so that if someone wants to help out, it should only be in theory it should just be like one click to get all of the data, all of the game downloaded and started up and compiled and ready to run. In practice it's going to be a little bit more than that, but it's much better. So if anyone wants to help out, then hopefully it should be easier. We had some improvements on the game design and art and world building side. Maybe not so much on the art side, other than we've been looking at a lot of the art of a guy called Philipp Soma, because he makes amazing landscape paintings, and whenever I see one of those, I feel like this is what I want Tides to look like. So it's a big inspiration. On the game design side and world building side, we just have a lot of chats constantly about this. So it's not a lot of concrete stuff, but it is a lot of it's a lot of fun to just talk about and think about what we can do with the game. But we're not quite at the stage where we can implement all of these yet, but it's still good to speak about those things. And my friend Alexander, who is also on the team, made this amazing Lego trailer that I will just show here because it's great.
The world moves in cycles. During the good tide, civilization is flourishing, cities and empires are built, and merchants travel everywhere. Life is good. So good that most people forget, ignore, or deny that the dark tide will come again. But it always comes again, and when the dark tide rolls in, there is chaos. Plague stalks the land, monsters roam the wilderness again, and even the very land itself will move and change. Mountains will crumble and new ones take their place. Rivers will change course. What once was lush farmland may turn into desert, and deserts into magical forests. Cities and empires fall, no one dares to travel, and people huddle close to their homes to ride out the storm. When the dark tide passes, the good times will be but a memory, a tale to tell the children, for there will be precious few left who remember. But there is one thing they all cling to. The dark tide will pass, and a time will come for a new beginning, a time for building and discovering again. Across the world there will be a tide of revival.
Okay, yes. I love it.
The world.
Let's move on. This summer, I guess I don't know, somehow I just really got into the idea of writing a tabletop RPG based on Tides of Revival. And I had a lot of fun with that. And I guess right now it's somewhere between 10 and 30 pages, depending on how big your screen is when you're viewing it in Google or in your browser. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think it's quite useful. Like, it's probably not like a great rule set for just like playing if you just want to play like an RPG. But I think it is a good rule set for for us to sort of explore the worlds of Tides and feel out what it might be like when you're playing the computer role-playing game. This is one of the things that I think was really successful that we did in 2024. We started quite late, maybe in August or something like that, where we started to move our plans to Discord. And so the way we did it is basically I post some goals that we have for the near future. Maybe like it doesn't really have a fixed end, but should be maybe like about a month of work, or maybe 2 months, whatever. And then we just write a bunch of tasks, and by from the beginning they're all like this white box here. But as we start working on them, we change the icon, and then we change them to finished. And then it's quite fun to just, because we're always in Discord, and it's easy to go there and just look at this channel. Whereas when we've had it in Trello, I just never go there, because it's just like a website that I have to go to and open, and it's much easier this way. And I think it's maybe fun maybe for other people to be able to go in and see what we're doing, and it's just so effortless to do these plans. It's just like if I had a to-do.txt, right, it's just, there's nothing to it, and that's really nice, and it looks kind of nice as well with the icons that I've drawn these icons for Tides. And so we have some tasks that we want to do. We have some stretch goals that are like, well, it would be nice if we also did these things. And then we have some bonus things that are like things we invent during the course of this sort of iteration that we had as well. Because it's always fun to get a sense of like, oh, here's a list of all of the things that we did. It's easy. It's a crack for the brain, right? Nice to see your progress in writing. And this is what it looks like when it's finished, or not finished, but this is like the current state in this example. So what are my plans for 2025, or our plans? Well, our next hill, as we call them, which is like the next big release of Tides, is called Build Up That Wall. And the short sort of premise or description of this is that the wilds are dangerous. There are villages, but the villagers, they dare not travel because there are monsters out there, and you need to sort of go out into the world and fight the dangerous creatures. And then the idea is that these villages will build sort of palisades or other sort of maybe watchtowers, something that it helps them establish that perimeter. And that's a way for us to both get get the player moving out into this big open world, and for them to have this effect, the big change on the world, right? So I'm really looking forward to this. It's quite minimalistic in, like, not minimalistic, but it's pretty small. This isn't going to be like a great game, but it's going to be one step towards a great game, right? And that's the whole idea behind these hills. And this is basically what we want to do for this release. And things will probably be added to this list and so on, but it's nice at least to have some sort of overview of what we're probably gonna do, and we're gonna try and finish it this year. Yes. My hopes, which is not quite the same as plans, but my hopes for 2020. Oh, we should say 2025 here. Oops. Is that maybe we can grow the team a little bit. Would be nice to have an additional programmer or even an artist, or even like a tech artist, or art director. Like I think it's starting to reach that point where we need someone to help out with making the game look really nice. But we have a lot of programming also to do, so yeah, there's a bunch of stuff to do. I would like to actually play the TTRPG a little bit and see how it goes. Test out the rule set, and also I did write like a small program to keep track of your characters and roll the skill tests and so on, because it helps, I think, with the to make it a little bit easier to do these playtests based on the rule set, and it was fun. So, and yeah, I really hope that when we finish the SIL, that it's something that you can play and get a feel for, like, oh wow, so this is what it's going to be like. This is like give me a little bit of a taste of what the game is becoming, and that it's going to be like, oh, I haven't seen I haven't played a game quite like this, right? So yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get, that sort of itch. And we have the open world game dev Discord, and it would be nice if it grew a little bit, but it's quite nice the way it is, so we'll see how it goes. I did, you may know, but I did a newsletter 2022-3. I haven't really had the energy to do it this year, or 2024. I think I will, before I get back to that, because I did enjoy it, but before I get back to that, I think I will need someone to help me out with it, because there's a lot of there's a lot of small things that I need to do in order to get the whole newsletter up and running and posting it everywhere and things. And I would rather spend that time on the game. But if I had a little bit of help with it, then I think I would be able to get back to it. But let's see. So do you want to help? So on the code side, there are now a bunch of beginner friendly tasks. Maybe not that they are if you're a new programmer you can just start writing these, but they are kind of separate. It's a task that isn't going to affect maybe a lot of the other parts of the game, so it's like a one chunk that you can just start looking at, and I think Giuseppe as well would be happy to help junior programmers take any of these and improve them. And like these are just like the ones that I thought of, like off the top of my head. But it's a huge game, so there's just an infinite amount of things to do. But I think these are maybe good starter issues to get yourself familiarized. And hopefully they're wide enough that if you're at all interested in like programming on a game project and helping out, that you can find one of these that sound like fun, maybe. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to say. Here are some links or some URLs that you can, type in, I guess, if you want to know more, if you want to come and talk to us or see what we are doing. Yes, that's all I wanted to say. Nice, it's been a really good year. Even though we haven't really made much gameplay progress, which is a little bit of a shame, because that's, as I said, it's something that I don't want to just concentrate on building tech, because I think that's if we do that, we're never going to have a game. We're just going to have a cool tech demo, and that's not where I want to end up. So this year, I'm really looking forward to actually making more of a game. But yeah, thanks for listening. And see you around. Bye bye.